What's up, guys? Tip of the week, and something a little different than in the past. I want to talk a little bit about sort of the mental side and emotional side of playing the game of golf. I've seen a bunch of professional PGA professionals, college players, high school players, and then everyday golfers, right, that are playing in their leagues on a Monday or Wednesday night over the last few weeks. And when you first start to work with a player, obviously you're trying to make their technique better. You're trying to get them to understand their technique and how it creates the path and the face and the low point and all those things. And those things are real, and those things are massively important to our improvement as a golfer. As you then build a relationship with a player, you start to understand that if this player is a competitive player in any regard, and listen, anyone who's taken lessons is competitive on some level, right? Others more than others, but everyone's trying to be better, right? So those things are important, but we also have to understand that we all, regardless of what level we're playing, are dealing with things that can make our emotions and mental state go up and down on a daily basis. Right? If you're a professional player, right, the fear of not excelling, right, not shooting low scores, all those things. You also then have your family and the rest of the real world out there that is challenging. College players, right, school, finances, all these things. Again, playing well enough to keep a scholarship. High school kids wanting to make it to state, right, and wanting to shoot their best score, school, family, girlfriends, all those things. The everyday golfer, they're working every day, right? They're probably dealing with a bunch of bullshit emails every day. And then you show up to the course 10 minutes before your tee time on a Wednesday, hoping that you go out and shoot a really good score. Like, it's difficult, dealing with what we have to deal with in today's world is not easy for most of us. And that absolutely affects our physical ability to move and play the game of golf. And if we don't have strategies in place to understand who we are mentally and emotionally, what makes us tick, what sets us off, what helps us actually perform better, then we are putting ourselves behind the 8 ball before the round even starts. Because we all know that when we play golf, whether it's 9 holes or whether it's 18 holes, there are going to be good things that happen and there are going to be bad things that happen, right? And the best players are players who are able to deal with all of the good and all of the bad from an emotional and mental standpoint, right? So they can then perform their technique and play the game to their utmost ability. And some people are just good at that, but most of us, I would say, have no clue how to even start to try to get there. All of that outside noise, and whatever that noise is, affects how we play, how we perform. And if we're only searching for better technique, and we think that that is the pathway for us to play better golf, then we're leaving a massive portion off of the table that can help us play better golf today with the technique that we have today. Because most people that I see in here, when we look at it from a TrackMan perspective and a ball flight perspective, they're actually very, very consistent with what they do. So if they just understand what they do, right, and they can repeat what they do when they're doing it well, then what we have to learn is how do we score our best? How do we play for us to give ourselves the chance to shoot the best score? And that's going to be different for every player. That's why we have to start tracking stats, understanding what stats are important for us, because I can have 4 scratch golfers in here, and they each are scratch golfer for very different reasons. And as long as they know what they're good at and what they need to avoid, they can remain a scratch, right? So if we start tracking stats, sort of understand who we are as a player. How do we then get to the next level? We start to have some strategies to deal with the mental and emotional side. Now our potential is ticking up, right? For our scores to go down, which is everyone's goal. So I think it has to be a combination of technique work and mental and emotional understanding of what performance looks like. And, I've been doing a lot of work with that as I continue to work with better and better players, because oftentimes, better golfers, while we want to sort of make the technique, more reliable, better, if you will, it's not probably going to be the thing that takes that better player to the next level. And I think it's a very difficult thing for really good players to really grab a hold of, right? Let's say a player is a scratch player and they're trying to get to a +2 or +3 handicap. That is really difficult to actually do. Not an easy thing. And so that scratch player has to understand what makes them a scratch player inside and out. Is it my putting? Is it my approach game? Is it my scrambling percentage? Is it my greens and regulation? There's so many factors that go into it. And I think a lot of people don't understand what the important factors are and what the non-important factors are. I think a lot of people would be surprised if you sort of chart out all of the stats and all the things that we do in this game, and we sort of mark them as importance relative to score. I think a lot of people would be pretty surprised by what's sort of at the bottom of that list. Maybe not so much as what's up to the top, but I think a lot of people would be surprised if they saw that list. So with all that being said, I'm not really here to give you strategies, because that is definitely going to be an individual basis. So, everyone's different. Just like everyone creates their club path differently, everyone deals with all that noise differently. So that has to be a one-on-one conversation, and it is much more of a exploratory conversation and a trial and error sort of then implementation of these things these strategies that we're trying to create, and we sort of see what works and what doesn't. But, I think I want to invite everybody to send me an email if you would be interested in, a Zoom call where I sort of go over performance strategies, and sort of look at it from a numbers perspective. What does performance even look like, right? And then we can also sort of chat a little bit about some of those mental side and emotional strategies to impart. I think step one, though, is to sort of, what does performance actually look like? And if I want to get better, where do I have to start tracking? And we can start putting some of those pieces in place. So send me an email if that would be something, a reply to this email, if that would be something that you would be interested in, and I can start to put a date and a time together and send an invite out, and we can sort of go through it. I think it'd be a lot of fun. And I definitely think a lot of people get a lot of benefit from it. So as always, thanks again. Any suggestions, any comments, don't hesitate to leave them down below. I'll talk to you soon.